Imagine for a moment that you're living in chains. But these chains are invisible. It is a world where every decision you make daily is dictated by something you cannot even see. It is a world where your government could at any time stop allowing you to access your own money because you have driven a certain number of miles. It is a world where the poorest of us will be given more reasons to struggle while those at the top continue to live their lives as they have in the past. The reality is that we could all be living in that world very soon. It is a world where one thing, carbon, rules above all else. Before I begin this video, let me say I'm not going to pretend I know everything about what's happening on our planet. Instead, I'm going to stick to one lane and my lane about talking the financial side of carbon. Specifically, the potential economic impacts this could have on all of us as we move more into a carbon-obsessed world. According to every news source around us, carbon seems to be the biggest threat, not only to you, not only to me, but to the whole planet right now. And the best solution we seem to have come up with is carbon credits. Currently, this is only something that big companies have to think about. But this could all change very, very soon. This change could be brought by the United Nations, where a young woman spoke passionately about the state of our planet and how we are at the beginning of a mass extinction. While all you can talk about is money, 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 money. The theory is that the more a business pollutes, the more it must pay to undo the damage. But there are many who argue that these kinds of carbon limits should be placed on individuals too. Like in Sweden, the Royal Institute of Technology is currently heavily debating the implementation of a personal carbon allowance, PCA, although only for Swedish citizens. And in the journal Nature, they have spoken about how the governments of France and California are exploring how to implement personal carbon allowances for each British citizen. A central bank digital currency, CBDC, would be entirely digital, but unlike Bitcoin, it wouldn't be decentralized. Instead, a CBDC would be managed by a country's central bank and supervised by your government, giving them the ability to track every single thing you spend your money on. However, this isn't even the worst part. One feature of a CBDC is that you would make your money fully programmable, which means that similar to the rules of a video game, your government could set restrictions on how you spend your money and possibly tell you what you can and cannot buy. This kind of authoritarian control over your money might seem a little far-fetched, and you might think it won't be something we will see in the future. But regrettably, this has already been put into practice in China, where the government has limited millions of people's access to things like train tickets, passports, luxury goods over the past few years already. This has been made possible by China's stringent social credit system, which connects each person's identity and actions to their bank account and enables the government to see and control what its citizen can and cannot spend their money on. No matter where you live in the world, this technology is probably only a few years away because countries like Sweden, South Africa, Canada are already conducting trials of programmable central bank currencies. In fact, almost half of the world's nations are at some stage implementing this kind of programmable money, if that is what we are calling it now. But Tanay, so how does programmable money relate to the personal carbon limit? So it all comes down to whether or not you have exceeded your monthly usage. And if you have, there are two potential outcomes. First, The most commonly discussed penalty for a person exceeding their individual carbon limit is that they'd simply get charged for doing so. Similar to what happens to large companies today. If you have taken too many car trips this month or purchased a little bit too much of meat, for example, you'd simply receive a bill at the end of each month from your go-to utility. Since they now have access to your finances as well, the second option is they might not even need to send you a bill for your excessive usage and instead just deduct the fine from your bank account. However, there is another more terrifying possibility if you exceed your monthly limit, and I'll discuss it shortly. First, let me introduce you to our sponsor, the book Love, Empathy and Project Management. The book offers an unique path into the world of project management, and the link is in the description. The second scenario of what might occur if you exceed your monthly carbon allowance has the potential to give your government more control over your life. To see how this could happen, we must observe what is occurring in China. As we already know, the Chinese government is already able to prevent citizens from purchasing certain goods through a social credit system connected to their bank accounts. This is exactly what your government could do as well when a programmable CBDC is installed. Until your monthly limit resets, it's possible that you won't be able to purchase so-called high carbon food items like coffee, meat, chocolate or potatoes. Again, this scenario is purely hypothetical at this point. However, with the power of CBDCs, it would be very easy for your government to control your money and literally take away your ability to travel. Daily decisions of society would be in the hands of the people at the top. No, not God. The kinds of people who are always talking about how dangerous carbon actually is. People like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Prince Charles, who frequently fly around the world on private jets while speaking about how important it is that we all lower our individual carbon output. Or people like the head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, who talks about making the world carbon neutral by 2050. While organizing events like Davos, a summit of global elites that annually draws a record number of private jets to one location, or celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, the voice of the global environmental movement, who spends his time vacationing on the largest yachts ever made in Britain, a yacht that emits as much carbon as almost 600 cars, a yacht that he also boards and disembarks from via helicopter. It seems like the people who talk the most are the ones who are most resistant to actually changing their own individual carbon footprint. These are the same people who would have enough money to buy the carbon credits they need to live the lifestyle they are continuously living right now. This got me thinking about who would lose the most if carbon credits were actually implemented. And as always, it seems like it would be the people at the bottom of the economic food chain. It would be the poorest people in society who would be hit the hardest. People who are already struggling to make ends meet and who can't afford to upgrade their old diesel cars or buy a brand new electric car. Or those of us in society who don't have the extra money to make more environmentally friendly choices about food or clothing or lifestyle choices. They would struggle the most to reduce their carbon footprint in the first place and would also probably feel the effects of a carbon tax the most if and when they were to be implemented. Personal carbon limits may be what humanity needs to advance toward a greener future and put the destructive nature of humanity we currently possess behind us. But I do believe that we are capable of implementing changes from a place of inspiration and joy rather than from some perceived authority figure telling us that we shouldn't do this while they seem to be doing no changes themselves. Because from the evidence that we are seeing, I believe that we are able to implement changes from a place of inspiration and joy. If this video was helpful to you and you believe it's essential for others to know about it, please share it and like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're interested in learning more, check out our channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.